Good morning. How are you today? It's a beautiful, gorgeous day down south, and that's down south in the southern hemisphere. It's beautiful Brisbane, Australia that I'm broadcasting from today, and in Australia it's now November the 21st, Wednesday actually, so it probably feels a bit funny for you if you're in the northern hemisphere and you're still on Tuesday. Tuesday was great, by the way. I hope that it's great for you too. Today I wanted to come to you and see how you are, first of all, and welcome to all our new members. My name's Linda and I'm your trauma recovery coach, and myself with a beautiful, beautiful bunch of admins. We jump in and help us all connect, help us all feel safe. We have the most emotionally safe group on Facebook, and we all love getting in and welcoming each other, connecting, sharing our different journeys, because they are all different, individual and unique. And if you're new here today and you'd like to join in the conversation, I broadcast live into group via an app called eCam, which you can check out. If you're on a phone, there's a link down below. And if you're on a computer, there's a link up above. You just press the link and it says, "Can I see your name?" And you just say, yeah. Facebook's instituted this type of thing in groups because of their stuff up earlier this year when an app took people's information and it shouldn't have. They've tightened up security, which is a really good thing. So today I wanted to come and share with you some information around language and around trauma and anxiety. And the reason why I wanted to do this today is because yesterday on my main page I was made aware of somebody who's following along with the information that I happily dispense, because they have a friend who suffers from PTSD, and they didn't understand that what happens for us when we've come through trauma, whether it's complex PTSD or childhood developmental trauma, they didn't understand that it was what was happening for their friend was very, very real. And as I sat back and thought about it and, looked back over what had happened to me, everything that I lost, and really the only piece of language that I ever had back then was, "I've got anxiety," or "I'm having a panic attack." And I wanted us to be able to give this information today to people who are in our lives and even to medical professionals, in order that we can broaden our understanding. They can examine what's happening from their understanding and their education, and help us receive the treatment that we need, okay? So I went through a whole series of misdiagnosis and mismedication and so much more. And it's not just because complex PTSD wasn't identified back then, it was also because we don't have a lot of this language in our day-to-day life. So if we don't know and we can't relay it, then other people aren't going to learn how to pick up the language either. So it's really, really important stuff. I mean, let's face it, that's how we're communicating today, all right, through language. So it is super, super important that we build on our language too, okay? Over time, we need to build on what's happening on the inside of us as we become more educated about it. And I don't mean educated at a uni degree level, but just in a day-to-day way that we are able to relay information to people so that it makes sense for us and it makes sense for them too, okay? One of the things that we can do when we talk to medical professionals or when we talk to people that are around us when this happens, when we're having anxiety or a panic attack, is say, "I've been triggered." It's not a language that I regularly hear of either in my day-to-day life or even with clients. We still haven't got the fact that I've been triggered. So things that you can explain when you've been triggered are that somewhere, like, it all happens in the amygdala, the emotional center of your brain. At some point in time, what was happening on the outside was so overwhelming that our amygdala couldn't file everything away. And it's like having, imagine you've got a bowl of Weet-Bix. Do you have Weet-Bix in America? It's like little oblongs of wheat biscuits. And it's like having a bowl of Weet-Bix, the amygdala, and most of it's filed away. But floating around in the Weet-Bix is Fruit Loops. Okay, so a whole different type of cereal, and if you can get that visualization, in our amygdala, things that have been traumatic for us and that we haven't filed away emotionally get triggered, and look, we could be in the middle of anywhere, shopping centre, gym, out having a picnic with the family, and we're having a great time, and then all of a sudden, without us knowing why, we get triggered, and next thing you know, we're having this massive panic attack or anxiety, face is full of perspiration, I can't breathe, my chest is tight. So use all this language, say how you're feeling, I'm afraid, and even if I'm in a safe situation, I shouldn't be afraid. I mean, the amount of times I've been at a shopping centre and gotten triggered and had no idea how to explain this, terribly frustrating. So when we give this information to other people, it helps them understand there was an incident in your life, that part of your brain hasn't filed away properly yet. And you are working on it, and it's just that I have to put into place all my practical tools to walk through this moment in time. If you can stand beside me just while I walk through it and let people know what you need. Sometimes you just need someone like shoulder to shoulder, not to touch you, but just shoulder to shoulder right here. Sometimes you need to look into someone's eyes so that you can see and get grounded, especially if you're not around like grass or something like that. Because I find walking on grass in bare feet, because it's a sensory thing. Remember, it's our senses that were overloaded from the trauma that created the Fruit Loops in the Weet-Bix. And it's getting grounded again helps us. We want to slow our breathing down, and we want to get grounded as much as possible. So even if we've got something to smell that is a smell that we're familiar with, that helps us get grounded as well. If you can engage 2 or 3 senses, it's more likely to work more effectively. Okay, so that helps people understand that you're not in control of this and you didn't ask for it. It's not like you dialed in and said, oh, excuse me, I need an anxiety attack right now. No. These are things that happen in your brain, and they are out of your control in the moment. When it happens, the trigger is out of your control, but the rest of it we work towards becoming aware of and becoming in control of, so that it no longer overtakes our life. Okay? Take some time to explain PTSD and complex PTSD and the differences. We can make it simple and easy for people, so making it simple and easy for people does not relay the complexities or the depth of the life that these conditions take away from us, okay? But we have to begin somewhere, and we have to begin using some language so that gives them a true understanding of where it came from to start with, okay? So PTSD is generally one incident or one area that happened repeatedly or not. It can just be a one-off, and it affects your whole neurobiological functions, your biological, your emotional, and the physical. Okay, and if they're open, now this is the part where we have to be responsible. Be aware whether the person's open to hearing more or not. And if they're not, just leave that little simple bit of information with them. Remember, it's more important that we have language out and about than it is to go right in depth. Okay? we've got to let people feel comfortable. It's like us when we've got anxiety. We become more and more comfortable with doing more and more in our life as we expose ourselves to it more and more. So with our language, we've also got to let other people take their time to wrap their head around not just the language, but what they see happening in our lives too, okay? We start with compassion for ourselves, and then we hand out compassion liberally too. Complex PTSD is simply, it's not simple, but easily defined as more than one incident of trauma that's happened in somebody's life, and it has had multiple effects in the emotions, neurobiological, biological, emotions, in the brain. Oh, and sorry, PTSD, you've got to let people know about the brain. You know, it's happening in the brain. It's something that we're working on in recovery, but it's not something that I can just change overnight, okay? And just let them sit with it. Let them ask a bit more. And the best thing you can do too is show them the ACEs study, which I will put a link down below in case you've not heard of it, and that's okay because not everybody has at this point in time. And when we score 4 or more on the ACEs study, then people begin to understand the impact on us is huge, okay? When you do the ACEs study, a lot of us score either 8 to 10 because we've had so much trauma just in our family lives, let alone any events that have happened outside the family as well, okay? And as I said, I will put the link, and it's the short version and the long version. You can give somebody the ACEs study to help them understand, and there's also, actually I'll find the video as well, there's also a good video by a doctor who explains the generational effect of trauma as well and what they're doing as medical staff. It's a really good, it's a good video, but what was I trying to say? My memory's been playing up this week, and that's another thing. Tell them, and with anxiety, your memory it can go to pot, okay? I'm making my brain work harder this week, so my memory has been a bit touch and go. I feel good in me, but I'm aware that my memory isn't where I'm at myself, and that's okay because I know if I keep going, the memory will open up more and catch up. So, you know, we've got to have a balance for ourselves as well. If you're going to see medical staff and you're suffering from anxiety, talk about your tiredness, how after a panic attack, anxiety attack, you literally have got to rest, okay? And you do, because your whole body is exhausted from the lack of oxygen. Drink water. I always tell my clients, especially after we've hit the emotional button on the head, drink water. Your body needs it, because it's like having a toxic release in our body, and we've got to keep flushing it out. Well, not repeatedly, but this particular thing, then go and have a sleep, all right? This is normal for when we've been triggered, and it's normal after we've had emotional releases from soul deep, okay? It's not about logical releases. They are different. Sometimes we want to just cry because everything's overwhelming, okay? So the word overwhelming. And the thing is, we are strong people. So doctors can sit back, and I've had this happen with GPs and with specialists. Oh, you're fine. You know, you're a strong person. You understand it. And because we understand it intellectually, intelligently, they think, oh, yeah, you're fine. But we've got to have the language of what's happening on the inside of us. When we rest, it gives us a chance for our whole being to rest, our whole body, our whole system to rest and regain the oxygen, okay, that, you know, when we're having a panic attack, I can tell you there's hardly any oxygen happening. It's the first time I had one was the most frightening experience of my life. I had to turn around and go home, and I've never forgotten it. And I didn't have any language at the time, like zero language. I just knew that I felt like my heart was going to burst out of my chest. Perspiration dripping off me. I had no words. I could hardly talk. And the only thing I could say to my 4-year-old son was, "I'm sorry, we have to go home." That was it. I'd promised to take him shopping. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't move. I literally could not move. For us, we need to be able to trust, and add more trust into the people that we're dealing with in our day-to-day life, whether that's the people around us or the medical staff that we deal with. We need to know that we can feel confident and trust them. One of the biggest mistakes I made was not knowing that I needed to trust, okay? In not trusting, I couldn't open up. I couldn't say how I felt. And at the time, I couldn't even identify that I didn't trust these people, okay? It's a really hard thing when we're on hypervigilance, okay? So when our body's wired on hypervigilance, so the adrenaline, okay, has gone in, and we're ready to, in our fight or flight mode. And for me, I noticed that my hands and my feet would be like this, tight as, right? I spent so much of my life with my muscles like this, and I didn't even know it. So be aware of your body, what's happening in your body, what's happening in your muscles, because that'll give you a good indication of how I need to know where in my life I can examine, where in my life do I need more trust. Ask myself the question, am I trusting? Are the medical people that I'm dealing with, do I feel that I can trust them? Do they engender trust? Are they able to talk the language that I need and I need to understand, so that I can understand me and I can have effective help, okay? And I was just reading a post how it's actually on my main page, how they're now teaching psychiatrists person-centered care. And that's something I learned a number of years ago in the counselling course that I did. We do person-centered care. It's not about anyhow, if you read the article, because otherwise I'll be here all day if I go into and explain it, person-centered care. But person-centered care means that care is driven by you. Person-centered care means that where you're at as a person matters more than what I know, okay? And the medical specialists were never trained in person-centered care, and that was the difference between. That's why I did counselling rather than psychology, because the person as a whole mattered more than what I knew, okay? So trust is a key area, and especially if you've had childhood developmental trauma, okay, trust is something that can be very challenging for us to even come by. But we want to start somewhere, all right? Become aware if you are isolating yourself. That's also something that can help the medical profession. Begin to look at your beliefs. What do you believe about your world? And I did another video this week where I did up a sheet to work towards a certain set of beliefs, so I'll put that link down below, and I better start making a list. So it's a free PDF to help you break down what's happening, emotions, thoughts, what's limiting you, and going in at a heart level so I can understand what I'm believing, okay? Really, really important work. Important work that you can take the information to your therapist or trauma coach in order that you can get strategies to overcome the beliefs as well. And remember, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, or for some of us lack of intelligence too, lack of knowledge. What matters most is that you have language and that you go in through the heart and have experiences and change those experiences in order that your neural pathways begin to grow and change in new directions, all right? when we change up our life experiences, even little bits each day, we actually, our brain creates neural pathways, and instead of going for the trigger that it needs, doesn't need, it just happens. Instead of going for the trigger, which is a normal reaction for us, which is saying, I'm not safe, all right? So if you can develop an awareness around your trigger, it's your brain saying, I'm not safe. And it's not true. We are safe. We're adults. We're in control now. So you want to work towards unpacking your beliefs, taking different actions, and in that way, we overcome so much of what tries to stop us from having our day-to-day life, okay? And we've got to put these efforts in. We've got to put the efforts in the physical. We've got to put the efforts in from the heart level and changing up our life, even a little bit of time. Now, and when I say a little bit of time, I really mean that, because sometimes what we would consider basic things, which is the order of our day, how we go about our day, and putting it in an order that our brain will not trigger, can be the most liberating thing we do for ourselves each day. It actually creates a core strength in us emotionally when we do get our lives in an order, because it's like our brain, we can actually begin to experience our brain going, oh, I know that order, I can do that order, so if I can do that, I'm safe. So our brain stops triggering as much, okay? I found that oftentimes when I was totally unaware, I'd get triggered because I hadn't sat down and put my day in order that I had a reference point for my brain to go, right, I'm going back here, and I still do this today. I'm doing this today, and then I'll do this and this and this. And if I stick to my order, it makes it easier for my brain to create the new neural pathways, to not get triggered, to not be knocked out for a couple of hours because I've had an anxiety attack, okay? All right, I hope that's helped today. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please feel welcome to leave them down below. I will put all the links, the 3 links I just mentioned, down below. And if there's anything I can do to help you, feel welcome to ask. I enjoy helping as much as possible. I come in early, so before I have clients and before I get down to doing more worksheets, workbooks, etc., because it matters that all around the world, we are the ones that are the catalysts for putting out information, for understanding ourselves, and for helping others understand what's happening for me. All right, have the most gorgeous day in the Southern Hemisphere, because it's beautiful in Brisbane today. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, have the most gorgeous evening, sweet dreams, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Blessings and dreams, and bye for now.